Slate. Oh, a card popped out.
All right, psychic awareness and imagination. Do you guys have it? Well, maybe we should do imagination because...
It's Imagination Thursday.
Yeah, I like that.
On the come up.
Inner child. Number 7. Your divine inner child spirit is knocking at your door, inviting you to step away from a serious life filled with too much work and drudgery and allow yourself some well-deserved playtime. Your life is presently over-controlled by others' needs and much too burdened with responsibilities. Consequently, you're losing touch with your inspiration and creativity. Listen to your inner child. Take time today to fantasize, visualize, wonder, and explore. Feed your inner child with art classes, theater tickets, concerts, and other types of recreational activities. If you don't honor your inner child's needs, he will get your attention by throwing one heck of a childish tantrum. Manifesting in a chronic bad mood or a nasty depression. You need this magic right now. Your inner child's message? Come play with me.
Ooh, come play with us.
It's Thursday. With us.
It's the come up. Boo! Damn, it feels like this card picked us in a way. Imagination, inner child.
I love this one because I've picked this one before. I've worked with this deck for a long time. And it's one of those things that I really have seen it happen where you, me, whoever, Mare, will have a tantrum. Like a bad mood will come if you don't do those things that you need to nurture yourself, whether it's like Mare singing or me painting or you listening to music. And
we used to see it when we were little, when we weren't doing the daily podcast, and we'd go a day past when I felt like I needed to do it, and I would start being a little fucking bitch. I'm like, why can't we do this? Like it's like fucking, I need to do something.
Well, what a good permission slip, especially on a Thursday.
Expansion.
Yeah, no, it's like, do something fun tonight or this weekend, or, make sure that you don't let that part of yourself go unbalanced. Especially as it gets darker earlier, it might be temptation to just scroll whole as we talk about, but you really want to honor that part of yourself so it doesn't throw a fit. But in fairness, the psychic awareness card also fell out, and because we were talking about John Lennon yesterday.
Do you want to read that one, Mare?
Yeah, we should.
Oh, you pulled it out? Okay, cool.
Here, I'll hold this card up.
Mare she psychically was aware that that's what I was going to have her do.
47, which of course reduces down to 11, one master number. Your divine soul is awakening, and with it, your psychic abilities are coming alive. More evolved and specific than basic intuition, your psychic faculties are giving you access to the fourth dimension and are coming into contact with discarnate, enlightened helpers who can assist and guide you in beautiful ways. You may start accessing divine music or tap into new healing energies. You also may receive telepathic messages and have clairvoyant visions.
Ooh.
I love that.
I love it too.
That's a good thing.
It goes on, and I don't know how much time I should.
No, do it. Read it.
Yeah,
of course.
Okay. Heed your newly aroused psychic faculties, and don't doubt that the specific and profound transmissions flowing to you. Record your dreams, believe in your hunches, and accept the symbols and signals being relayed to you from the psychic realm. Trust your vibes and embrace your psychic channels fully. What you're communicating is essential to fulfilling your purpose. Ask your divine soul to lead you. Its message: embrace and trust what you receive.
Ooh.
Right on.
Man, how do you do that without paranoia and suspicion? Embrace and trust what you receive.
Yeah, there's a lot to receive out there in the multiverse.
Yeah.
Well, I love it as a paired with the imagination one, because that's kind of like you open yourself to these psychic faculties where it comes in with play. And I think, shout out to Daniel, he's always helped me in the play area by, with movement and different things. But, it's also a lot of times I think what happens with sitting down to draw, you're like, what am I going to draw or what am I going to paint, or I have no ideas. But it's kind of like you want to set the stage or set the table for you to like have the spaciousness to hear what might pop up and not judge it, right? That's got to be a good part of it. It must, I guess that's probably true of writing lyrics. Like we were talking with Paul McCartney, just like, okay, what words am I saying? With John Lennon being like, just say, something in the way she's like cauliflower or whatever until you get it right,
They're on paint at the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Be playful and receive it.
It's part of what this show is. You know what I mean? It's like we've been doing a podcast for so long, and it's like let's try a deviation on it. Let's like see if this,
Right.
and it really has like to. To have to constantly try not to repeat ourselves and keep a good vibe. And it's like, it's cool. Like it actually, it's helped me be more creative. It's helped me tap into my inner child a little bit doing a daily show. And
the podcast used to be so stressful for me because I was like, but then when I realized, I just want to try to be present and see what arises and just trust that and not judge it. It's been a lot more fun. I don't know if it's been as profound or in some ways it's been more profound at times,
Yeah.
Yeah, navigating psychic abilities. As I think more and more people are doing that, especially since 2020, people's frequency is being raised. We're all more psychically connected. And therefore, there's more to navigate. And I think that's why, as I've said, people are more comfortable right now, maybe being more distant because being around each other can be so intense.
Yeah.
Yes, it's. I think a lot of times it's matching your frequency as well, because like I was talking earlier today, Cass, when I'm low, like I'm always having visions, right? Like I'm always tapped into whatever is going on. And if I am low frequency, those things do tend to be darker. And of course, there's always a multiverse of things to receive: the good, the bad, and the ugly, sideways, upways, downways. Sometimes it is hard to play captain and choose what you want to, what is your North Star? What do you want to be listening to? I had a favorite tarot reader a while ago describe intuition as a knowing and fear as arising as questions. And I think that's been a helpful navigation tool for me when I'm listening.
Wait, can you say that again? That was good.
Yeah. Intuition comes in as a knowing and fear comes in as questions.
Okay. Wow.
Kind of like, what if?
Yeah. It's, there's a way to build your etheric shield, as they say. And of course, if you live in New York, you're better at doing it because you have to be around people all the time and be careful about who you're attuning to and stuff. You know what I mean? But another thing is like not taking it so seriously, knowing that there is like an infinite number of things to be tapping into. And it's all, it's a consensual thing, and you really do get to choose what that looks like. Because sometimes I think psychic connection can almost feel oppressive because it feels like you're powerless to the influence of something else.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it feels like bombardment.
Yeah.
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 I know what you mean.
Yeah. You just talked to Lacey, who was one of my most profound psychic experiences. She's incredibly tapped in. Shout out to Lacey Free. And I was just kind of went on a long stint of thinking about God, like how long did it take her with all of that to be able to navigate out in public and not always be feeling everything around you from everybody,
Right.
My father growing up always used to describe me as an empathetic sponge. He was like, there isn't really a difference between you and what's going on. You're just like...
Oh, that's a good way of describing
And
it.
I was really offended when I was a kid, you know. But I was offended when people called me sensitive and stuff too, because at the time especially, like, it was such a demonized thing, and I've obviously grown into loving it and understanding it to be really my power. But
I've only just learned to
took
embrace
me a
that.
long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the embracing of receiving.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're a sensitive person. That's a great way of putting it, what your dad said. There's no difference between you and what's going on. and that's how it feels, for sure. And, there's ways to protect yourself. And, part of that, for me, my macabre is made of not taking things too seriously.
Yeah.
That's I'm good at that.
Yeah.
I'm good at reminding myself, like, oh, I'm getting caught up right now.
Yeah.
I'm going to die one day. Could be tomorrow. Like, let's not get too fucking crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, death is a good...
Death is the best reminder. And I think, like, we were talking about this the other day, and we should probably do a more long-form political podcast because Mare and I have been on fire lately in just our personal conversations. But death is so not acknowledged here, and our elderly population has disappeared because that's what keeps the slaves going back to the plantation every day. Because if you don't have a good sense of that, if culturally we don't have any rites of passages or ways of dealing with this stuff, it's just a tragedy. And it happens as opposed to embracing something that everyone's going to go through.
Yeah.
It keeps us going back.
And it's actually like the way that, like the science's language around death is always that it's a failure. Always, no matter if somebody dies at 104 or whatever, it's a failure. It's a failure of the medical community. It's a failure of that person. And it's so interesting, just this complete avoidance of death itself in our culture. And I talked about alcohol, I think, being the biggest player in that and proponent in people being able to have that level of denial and aversion to it. And that's why you can be a cog in the wheel, because when you, of course, like you said, when death is right in front of you, the importance of life is just so roaring. You can't spend it on frivolous things that make you, spun out or dark or aren't serving these larger things. And I always think about Black Sabbath too, for some reason, when I think about like reminding people of death. I think that was a huge part of their art form, and their lyrics and stuff. And that was really profound about them.
A huge part of George Harrison's music.
Yeah.
A huge part of his practice. He used to say that his meditation practice was preparing himself for death.
Yeah.
And we watched a great movie the other night called Some Kind of Heaven. It's a documentary from 2020 about this old folks city down in Florida called The Villages.
Yeah.
And there's this old guy and he's far out. He's doing hape. This old, like, it blew my mind. Like all of a sudden they have this old guy and he's doing hape, and like he's just living in an old folks home with everybody else. But he's saying, I want to go out with a smile on my face. So his life is like just getting sillier and sillier as it goes on, to the point where he's like 85 years old, getting caught with cocaine and weed, and like having to go to court for it, and he can't even treat the judge like he's somebody. You know what I mean? He's so not taking this seriously. It's kind of beautiful.
He's the real life beach bum from that movie, with Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, totally.
Death seems to have different flavors, though. Doesn't it feel like maybe even with John Lennon, like where he was at with his journey, that like God or whatever, that they were like, all right, we're ready to recruit you for our thing. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of feel that way sometimes. That there's like people who've done a certain amount of work, and it's like, okay, we think that it's like a huge tragedy to leave this plane, but we don't know what the other planes contain, the freedom, the expansiveness, potentially. That sort of thing.
Down here's just building our resume, and then eventually we get recruited. We got the job.
Or they're like, go do it again.
and John Lennon got out easy. It's a tragedy, but man, did he get out easy? Fucking no suffering, nothing like that. Just boom, instant gone.
Yeah, we're really going to explore this in our lifetime and the next lifetime, because they're going to be able to really extend people's lives, and we're really going to come to understand why death is, if not more important than life.
Yeah.
Extend
your prison sentence. Imagine.
Exactly. I was like, you think about life, like Earth, so much more romantically than I do. I was like, this is a prison sentence, and eventually you'll get to be released from it.
No, trust me, I'm not like right now, because I have no examples of it. I'm not looking forward to being in my 80s or 90s. Like, I don't have examples of how people are doing. Well, now Bob Dylan's becoming an example.
Yeah, Charles Lloyd, Bob Dylan. There are some
keep
people.
It going. Leonard Cohen kept it going.
You know that there's like a Tibetan tattooed lady that's very, very famous on the internet that's everywhere. I'm forgetting her name right now, but she's 104 and still tattooing.
No,
she's another one of my inspirations.
Way.
Yeah,
she does tattoos.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. Well, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
I think I have a picture of her over there.
Yeah. So again, in the same vein, like we were talking about yesterday, with keeping moving, keeping active, keeping learning, I think that is life. That's like the description of what it is to live.
Yeah. And finding things that like get you excited or interested in, and just the unending quest for those things.
If you're not busy living, you're busy dying.
Yes.
Pretty much.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. There's some meme about like, why do people are so comfortable with life and uncomfortable with death? And it was like, oh, life is a beautiful lie and death is the harsh truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Life is precious. It really is. It's sweet and it's precious, and if you do the work, it can be really fulfilling and enjoyable, even if you're living in the worst empire that this Earth has ever known.
Yeah.
There's ways to hack the system.
There is. I'm an example of that. I used to be very, very, very fucking caught up in, you know, the ways that people get fucked with, and it made me not want to live. It makes me not want to have a long life. It makes me not want to have kids, like this kind of stuff. But there's a way to carve out an enjoyable place where you can stay inspired and positive.
Yeah.
And that starts to affect change, believe it or not.
Oh, yeah.
Holding your fucking ground in times like this, for sure.
I'll be honest, I'm really scared to die. I don't know what's like, I get really scared about it. For some reason, to me, when I think about it, it seems really lonely.
I'm more scared for you to die than me to die.
Well, that...
You know? Like, that's what it's more like for me, is like, you know, you guys make me want to be here. Not much else does. Like, I do love doing all these other things, but, like, this is the muse. This is what keeps me grounded, you know?
Well, if you do have fear that comes up when you think about death, I recommend reading NDEs.
Yeah.
It's like basically my favorite pastime and the only thing that I've really spent a lot of time consuming that's not like information on music or astrology. I fucking love a good I love scary NDEs more than I love anything, because I think the more that you read, because like 99% of them are just like ecstasy. I met with like incredible experiences, but there is a 1% where people go to hell.
Yeah.
And I think they're way more interesting. And I just think the whole breadth of it and really realizing like it is you. It's still like you can't escape the fact that like existence is choice. Like to be a soul is choice. And like, yes, maybe you die and you live in this blank space or whatever, because that's what the fuck you think is going to happen. And that's what you think your power of creation is. But of course, you know, if you bring awareness into it, like you are the God, you are the creator. Why would you just choose to live in a black box?
Yeah, it feels like you're going to be a genie
like,
trapped in a bottle. That's what it feels like to me.
Well, and it's also like an outsourcing of life. Like it's not anybody else but you creating reality.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Also, if we think this is bad, eternity sounds worse.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, a little bit. Eternity sounds worse than like something I can wrap my head around 100 years.
Well, that's like with Smoking Toad. It feels like it like beat it out of me. And I'm still scared of death or whatever,
Right.
but like it beat it out of me of like the suffering.
Yeah.
Like when in that space of blankness or emptiness of like, oh, you're going to suffer. Like you need to breathe into this, like feel peace within the absence of everything. You know, it was like there's no beating this system. There's no like, you just have to like, you have to surrender. And that's when you can transform the relationship to what you are, that black blank space or whatever.
And that's what it feels like this is. It's just like, not just human life, whatever's beyond it. It's just like, it's a series of just surrender and surrender and surrender. And when you bring up NDEs, almost in reference to what I was saying before, that's almost like you got the job interview, but you didn't get the job. You're like, whatever. We'll get back for you.
Well, I think, for a lot of people, it's like part of the job, because you hear it happening with a lot of like, well, I say you hear it happening with a lot of clairvoyant and psychic individuals, but that's not actually true. It just, when a lot of people have NDEs, they become psychic individuals.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is also fascinating.
You know what's fascinating in my research of this the other day? Because I just go down rabbit holes and I type in near-death experiences. I'm trying to find this one specific one, which I did find and post on our Discord. It's the best one I've ever fucking heard. And I was trying to find it and I couldn't find it. So I'm just Googling NDEs. It's like a celebrity trope to go on a late-night talk show and say they almost died. When you type in near-death experience,
Interesting.
the first 30 results are Chris Pratt almost died.
Oh, wow.
Fucking Jennifer Lawrence almost died. But and it's them all. I don't know if it's bullshit or not. Is there any way this many celebrities had this many near-death experiences, or do they realize like this is a powerful form of storytelling? This, you know. This makes me relatable. This makes me seem, you know, powerful, or I have like psychic abilities.
Yeah.
Or, you know, it's an interesting story to tell, but I found that to be interesting.
Avenue for lying and manipulation and ego tripping and stuff.
But the ones like that have resonated with me, I'm like, this isn't a lie. This isn't a fabrication.
Well, there's ones like somebody meets their kids they haven't had yet. You know, there's a bunch of stuff like that. You know, that's incredible. And I mean, this is, you know, Harvard's been documenting this for I don't even know fucking how long, but I think their statement on it was like, you definitely don't die when you die.
Yeah.
Trying to discover, I also heard that they put out the other day that they think our universe was created in a lab by aliens. And I'm not sure about the lab part, but I am almost positive about the alien part.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely get down with that for sure.
Yeah.
Fuck. I'm an alien.
Yeah, we're aliens.
We're aliens.
That's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So yeah, get ready to die, folks. It's your destiny.
But let's live another day.
Yeah.
Live today fully.
Die to live another day. That sounds like a James Bond movie.
Oh, yeah. Live today to die. Long time from now.
It's a beautiful life.
Cool. Thanks for joining us on this Thursday, the day of expansion. It's our day of death and honoring death and spirit. And,
Guess so.
Why not? Let's honor death every day.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow.
We love you.
Love you.